One, two, three, four, one. Do 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 pow pow pow. All right, greetings from the Survival Pod. This is Freedom Phil out here in the wasteland, and what's the topic? Well, I'm gonna be honest. Are the Olympics actually relevant in this modern age, or are the Olympics just like a timeshare that we're still stuck in? And where am I going with this? This is Freedom Phil. Like, subscribe. Let's get into it. And hey, turn up the video speed. Why do I always say that? Because watch videos faster. That's why the channel's called that. If I upload this, you'll be watching at 1.75. Let's get into it. It's like this. I was sitting there watching the news, and you see these Olympic athletes, I mean, the U.S. athletes, talking shit about the politics of the country. And man, do I miss back when we had this outlook in the world that, you're here to play a sport. Shut up and play the sport. Just smile, play the sport. Hopefully you win gold. People are like, well, what about their opinion? I don't care what their fucking opinions are. It'd be like going to a restaurant, a fancy restaurant, and do I need to care about what the waiter's political opinions are? Oh, fuck no. You're here to serve food, dumbass. Is that too complicated for you? By the way, like and subscribe. Is it too complicated for you to show up and just do your fucking job? Because that's the way I view the Olympics. In a world with these antiquated sports that nobody plays for the most part. I mean, yeah, some people ski, some people do long distance running. Like between the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics, there's a few things that people actually participate in real life. Like I do know some people who enjoy doing cross country. I know some people who love the downhill. But this thing that you see with the Olympic Games and the politicization of the Olympic Games, there's always been some political thing here and there, like especially when it was East versus West, the Reds versus the Americans. But like for the most part, back in the day when you were an Olympic athlete, you just showed up and played the fucking sport. And if you did it really well, you got on the Wheaties box, you got endorsements. You went around the country, basically telling kids in high schools or, universities why exactly, we need to have these sports that are completely irrelevant to your fucking life. Like, I could understand why you should have some, cardio and weightlifting. And maybe some yoga, some stretching. Stretching's probably pretty important in the long run, prevent strains. But curling? Why do we have a curling team? I can understand hockey because people actually like playing hockey. The ski jump, downhill ski jumping. Sure, I understand people like skiing. And by the way, let's be honest about this. Isn't a lot of these sports, for the most part, a rich person thing? They really are. They're a rich person thing. I don't know anybody who's doing ski jumping that isn't, pretty well to do. Or at least has a decent lifestyle behind them. Now, you should feel pretty blessed that you're in the position where, yes, you did put the work in. It's not all, there's the genetic lottery type of situation. But there is the part where the person puts forth the hard work to become that athlete. But all the same, you get out there and the first thing you do, and this is just a Western problem in general. You go out there and you immediately start talking shit about your country. Well, we don't like what's going on with the ICE detention raids and blah, blah, blah. Why are you talking about this? I swear to God, you guys ever heard that song? Look it up if you haven't heard it. I can't remember. It's John something or other. Show me your genitals. It's like, I can't put my penis in your college degree. I can't. It's like something about your childhood dreams. So why are you sharing all this information with me? Like, really, that is the best line. And that should be the thing with sports stars. I don't need to know your political opinions any more than I want to hear the waiter tell me about the political situation in Zimbabwe or Palestine. This is not why I went to the restaurant for the steak. I went for the steak and lobster, have a good time. I don't need to be lectured at by the people that are allegedly supposed to be doing a job. And trying to make everything in the fucking world political. It's a luxury that you have. Why I say that is because, I actually have a lot more respect for the dictator countries like China, Russia. And they're like, what do you mean respect? Let me tell you, Their sports stars show up and they just like, you think the team from Korea says fuck all shit to the media? No, they say Korea's awesome. North Korean, or, they're like, Korea's fucking awesome. Even if it's not awesome. You know why? Because you're there to be a representative of your fucking country. Just, to show how incredibly talented and skilled you are in figure skating or, curling or whatever. You're there to show off how awesome your team is, your country is. Not to have a platform to say whatever millennial woke shit. And look, if you disagree with what the president's doing, well, guess what? Vote for the other person next time. But you show up to work, you just do your fucking job. And that's what I think's funny about it. Yeah, people talk, well, freedom of speech. I don't know, man. When I'm at work, I can't, say when I was trucking. If I have a warehouse person, it's fucking me around. I have had that happen. I've been places where they dicked you around all night. And I swear to God, there's times you're thinking to yourself, I'm this close to snapping and just fucking being an incident. But you know what? I'm like, it's not my job. Just let the morons do what the morons do. And they finally got me loaded after 10 hours. It's not my job to have an attitude with these people, even if they are fucking me around. And, to kind of chuckle under their breath. And, of course, the English people who speak Spanish, they're Americans, but they speak Spanish. Like second generation. And they're talking shit and they don't think you can understand. And it's like, and I think only in America do I have to put up with this shit. Oh, by the way, anywhere in the world that goes on, but you know what I mean. No, you just got to you show up and you do your fucking job. And that's the way I look at the Olympics. I don't want to hear your political opinions. I don't care what your politics are on whatever issue. You're here to fucking go down a hill and jump really high. You're there to do the bobsled, or you're there to pole vault. And by the way, how much time in your high school sports was a waste of time that you will never fucking use relevantly in the rest of your life? Like, how much of that time, if you were taught to be an accountant, a plumber, a nurse, someone that codes, somebody who does, would you have been better off knowing how to re-roof a house than knowing how to pole vault? Just saying. All the wasted time, just like I like history, but history is a waste of fucking time to teach kids. Hell, a lot of science, to be honest. Science is awesome, but most people are too dim-witted to ever put it to practice. Most people can't even comprehend most of the things they're learning. Like all the time, that 13 years when you're a kid wasted, and then 2 to 4 years in trade school or college or whatever, all to basically be, you're fresh out of the machine, and you're like, and then there's somebody from a foreign country on an H-1B who got their education faster, stronger, cheaper. Oh yeah, we totally got lots of time to waste on that shit. Yeah. And back to the Olympics. I think the Olympics is really a hangover when America didn't have video games or TV screens, or back when TV, let's talk about TV channels. Remember when there was, analog TV and you had Snowball, it's coming in kind of fuzzy. You're watching the football game. It was from a world where people went outside more for entertainment. It wasn't weird. You just got on your bicycle and rode somewhere. Hell, a lot of kids still do that. Thank God. If you live in a small town, you have a bicycle because you can go anywhere you want in the town. Your friend lives on the other side of a small town. Hop on your bicycle. You're over there in a few minutes. You want to go out to the river and go fishing, you just hop on your bicycle. That type of America every year, but moreover now, each decade you go back, you can see that style of American more represented. When we didn't have, think about it, three channels back in the day, maybe 6 channels. Yeah, the Olympics were probably something really big to watch. There was nothing else on. Now we've got, not 30 channels. I have on that TV right there, you can't really see it, but that TV, I pick up 69 channels for free. You remember when you had to pay for 30? And then you have how many different options for video games? How many different options for streaming shows? No, I say it. The Olympics at this point are like a timeshare that we just haven't got out of, with a bunch of sports and things that aren't really relevant to anybody's lives. And I don't say that to be a dick. I'm just pointing out what's accurate. Like, I get it. Some people really love downhill skiing. Some people love snowboarding. But that's a fucking pastime, brother. That's not a fucking sport. Yeah, sure, it's athletic, but it's a pastime. It's like golf. Don't fucking tell me golf is a sport. Golf is more of a skill. It's like playing pool. It's a skill. You know? Is it relevant to your day? If it's fun, cool. Have fun doing it. Don't get me wrong. If you love doing it, if you're crazy about curling, have fun curling. But please don't waste my money, my time. And by the way, we could change all of this, just like it's the same thing I've said about welfare over and over again. If you made welfare a checkbox, like, here's your base minimum amount of taxes you have to pay. Would you like to pay into the welfare funds? Would you like to pay into unemployment? Would you like to pay into Social Security? Like, would you like to pay so other people can have food stamps? You make it an optional choice and put one of those boxes as, would you like to have, we the people voted for the option to do the Olympics. Would you like to contribute to that? And put it even in there. Would you like to contribute to useless sports in your high school that your kid, like, that's cool. Back in the day, you could pole vault over this thing. Awesome. Relevant for your future how? Would you like to contribute to those type of games? And I bet every year you go, you're going to see people being less connected to that shit. And the simple reason is, back in the day, we didn't have any other options. We didn't. We were more physical because that's what we had. Now we're a long ways from physical. We're basically, video games, streaming, social media. Lord knows how much crap on TV. God, I don't know what, there was this, I was, scrolling through the TV stations, and I for whatever reason, I landed on this show. It was called Shirley or something like that. And there's this black fat chick, and then there's this white chick there for some TV show, and she is fucking huge. Look, I'm no perfect Adonis myself, but like, this woman was bigger than me. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, how the hell did this happen? What bizarre world am I living in? So on one side, we got Olympic sports that are completely irrelevant to your day-to-day life. Never gonna make money unless you're that top 1%. This will never be useful to you ever again. Unlike, understanding math, compound interest, and how to save money. By the way, things we really don't teach. We really don't teach kids how to be a minimalist. We don't teach any of that. And I think that's done on purpose. You're purposely kept ignorant about things that will actually make you to a successful person. It's one of the reasons I have a lot of respect for Asian countries. And sometimes with the tiny hats, the magic tribe in the desert that shall not be named. I have some respect for those parents, because they're like, no, you're not wasting your time doing that shit. You're doing something that can guarantee that you have a decent career, a decent job. And if you were to pair that decent job with minimalism, let me tell you, which is more relevant? Let me ask you this question. Which is more relevant to your life? If you're like Al Bundy and scored 3 touchdowns in one game, that type of nonsense. That the peak of your life was realistically high school. Or the fact that if you get a decent job, decent trade, decent career, whatever, truck driving, I don't care, live minimalistically and you're retired by the age of 30. Which is more relevant to our existence? But you see, man, that guy that pole vaulted or that curling team, totally curling, totally relevant. At least with hockey, people actually enjoy hockey. Just like with the NBA, people actually enjoy the NBA. But just because I enjoy a particular sport, like, for instance, I do enjoy football occasionally. I don't go out of my way to watch it, but occasionally maybe I watch the Super Bowl because I did grow up in Western Washington. So I was like, oh my God, the Seahawks are in the Super Bowl? That's why I watched it. That's the only reason I watched it. Otherwise, I don't think if it wasn't for the fact that I turned on the news and they brought up the fact that it was coming, the big game, I wouldn't even have known it was on. That's how irrelevant it is to my life. But at least with some of those sports, people have some connection to them. But like I said earlier, can these goddamn sports stars, just like Hollywood, just like a lot of gaming industry, can y'all just shut up and just produce something? I don't want to hear the political opinions of my waiter any more than I want to hear a sports star telling me their political opinions on what's going on in our country or any country. Your job is to show up and put on a goddamn good performance and smile while you're doing it. And hopefully you bring back gold. And in some countries, if you don't bring back gold, you better not come home. I'm just saying. I'm looking at you, China, North Korea. You failed, and we never heard from that athlete again. They're off making shoes. Talk about some pressure to be great. Anyhow, this is Freedom Phil. Like and subscribe. Take it easy.